Want to speak English with confidence? You're in the right place. Easy Survival English.
I wanted just a small trim. I pointed at my hair and said, a little bit off with about 4 inches gone, and I had no idea how to say any of that in the moment.
The classic haircut disaster. Today, we make sure that never happens to you again.
We are giving you the exact phrases to describe exactly what you want at a hairdresser or salon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Emma.
And I'm Daniel. Let's get straight into it.
Today's topic is the hairdresser and salon, one of the most nerve-wracking places to communicate clearly in a second
Because if you get it
language.
wrong, you cannot just return it the next day.
Let's fix that right now with the exact phrases you need.
The first essential phrase is, I would like a trim, please. A trim means cutting just a small amount to maintain the current length.
This is very different from, I would like a haircut, which can mean any amount of change.
If you want a specific amount removed, be precise. Could you cut about 2 centimeters, please? Or just an inch off the ends?
Giving an exact measurement removes almost all confusion immediately.
The next essential phrase is, not too short, please. Simple, but extremely important to say clearly before they start cutting.
You can also say, I want to keep the length, just clean up the ends.
Very useful phrase for anyone who only wants a minor refresh, not a real change.
Now, the phrase that would have saved you from your own disaster. Could you show me with your fingers how much you are planning to cut?
This is genuinely one of the most powerful phrases in this entire episode. The hairdresser shows you the exact amount using their fingers before cutting anything.
Visual confirmation, exactly like we discussed with directions in our last episode.
Exactly the same principle. Never assume both people mean the same thing by a little.
Another very useful phrase before any big change. Could I see a photo of what that style looks like, please? Many salons have style books or will search online with you. Photos remove almost all uncertainty about words like layers, fringe, or bangs, which can be described very differently by different people. 5 essential tools already. Asking for a trim, giving exact measurements, saying not too short, confirming with fingers, and asking for photos. Already enough to walk into any salon with real confidence.
Daniel, do you go to the same hairdresser every time, or do you try new places?
I actually prefer going to the same person every time now, purely because of communication.
That makes complete sense. Once someone understands your preferences, you don't need to explain everything from scratch each visit.
Exactly. The first visit with someone new is always the highest risk moment.
What other vocabulary do people need beyond just the cut itself? What about color or treatments?
Great point. If you want to change your hair color, useful words include highlights, which means small, lighter streaks throughout your hair,
And full color, which means changing the entire hair color, not just streaks.
For example, I would like some highlights, please. Nothing too dramatic.
Or, I want a full color change, something a few shades darker than my natural color.
What about texture-related words, like curly or straight treatments?
Very useful ones are blow dry, meaning drying and styling with a hairdryer, and straightening, which flattens curly or wavy hair temporarily or permanently.
For example, could I get a blow-dry, please? Nothing too voluminous.
Now, what about describing layers, since you mentioned that word earlier causes confusion? Layers means different lengths within the same haircut, creating movement and texture rather than one flat length. People often disagree on how much layering counts as a lot versus subtle, which is exactly why photos help so much here. What if you genuinely dislike something during the appointment, perhaps midway through a color treatment? It is completely acceptable to speak up immediately. Actually, could we make this a bit lighter or darker, please? Salons expect adjustments during the process.
Waiting until the very end to express dissatisfaction makes changes much harder, sometimes impossible for that visit.
What about a simple phrase for when you're happy with something mid-process?
That looks great. Thank you. Works perfectly and lets them know they're on the right track.
Communication throughout the appointment, not only at the very beginning, prevents almost every haircut disaster.
Let's also cover what to say at the very end when checking the final result. Could you trim it just slightly here, please? Pointing to a specific area.
precise, polite, and completely normal to request small final adjustments.
And if everything is perfect, this is exactly what I wanted. Thank you so much.
Genuine, simple appreciation, which most hairdressers deeply value after their work.
Let's cover a useful grammar point now. We often use would like instead of want in these situations, since it sounds more polite in a service setting.
For example, I would like a trim sounds naturally more polite than I want a trim, even though both are grammatically correct.
Small wording choice, but it changes the entire tone of your request in a professional service environment.
Very useful distinction for any service-based conversation, not only hairdressers.
Let's also talk about washing and treatments. What phrases help there?
Could I get a deep conditioning treatment, please? Is useful if your hair feels dry or damaged.
Deep conditioning means an extra treatment that adds moisture and repair beyond a normal wash.
Another useful one, not too hot, please, when they're washing your hair, since water temperature preferences vary a lot between people.
Small phrase, but genuinely useful for comfort during a long appointment.
What about scalp massages or extra relaxation services some salons offer?
You can simply ask, do you offer a scalp massage with this service? Many salons include a short one, but not always automatically.
Worth asking directly, since it's often a lovely extra that isn't mentioned unless you ask.
What if you're unsure about pricing before you commit to something like color or extra treatments?
Always ask up front. How much would that cost, approximately, before agreeing to anything beyond a basic cut?
Very important, since color treatments and additions can add significant, sometimes surprising cost.
Salons should always be transparent about pricing if you simply ask directly and early.
Let's teach our listeners the essential salon vocabulary from today.
Trim means cutting a small amount to maintain the current length.
Layers means different lengths within a haircut, creating movement.
Highlights means small, lighter streaks added throughout the hair.
Full color means changing the entire hair color completely.
Blow dry means drying and styling the hair using a hairdryer.
Fringe, called bangs in American English, means hair cut short at the front, above the eyes.
For example, I would like a fringe cut just above my eyebrows.
And root touch-up means refreshing the color only near the scalp where new hair growth shows.
For example, I just need a root touch-up, not a full color.
Trim, layers, highlights, full color, blow dry, fringe or bangs, and root touch-up. 7 essential words for any salon visit.
Practice describing your own current hairstyle today using at least 2 of these words.
Emma, tell us about the 4-inch disaster from the beginning, properly.
Oh, wait, that one is actually yours, Daniel.
Right, of course. My own story. This happened during my first year living abroad.
Still early in your English journey, then.
Very early. I walked in, feeling reasonably confident, and said, "Just a little bit off, please," while gesturing vaguely with my fingers close together.
Which sounds clear to you, but is actually quite vague to someone else.
Extremely vague, apparently. The hairdresser interpreted a little bit completely differently than I meant it, and started cutting confidently.
Did you notice early on that something was going wrong?
Not immediately, because I couldn't see clearly without my glasses on, and I didn't want to seem rude by constantly checking the mirror.
Politeness working directly against your own interests.
Exactly that. By the time I finally looked properly, roughly 4 inches were already gone. Far more than I had ever intended. What did you do in that moment? Honestly, I just smiled and said thank you, because I genuinely did not know the English words to express my actual concern in real time.
So you walked out with hair you didn't want, purely because of a communication gap.
Purely because of that gap. It grew back eventually, of course, but I felt strange about it for weeks.
What would you say differently now, knowing everything we covered today?
I would say, could you show me with your fingers how much you were planning to cut? Before they even started.
That single confirmation step would have prevented the entire situation.
completely prevented it. And I would have said, actually, that's more than I wanted the moment I noticed, rather than staying silent out of politeness.
What is the broader lesson here for our listeners?
Speaking up during the process matters just as much as explaining clearly at the beginning. Silence out of politeness can cost you literally inches of hair.
A uniquely hair-related life lesson, but a genuinely important one.
Did people notice the change afterward?
Everyone at work noticed immediately, and several colleagues asked if everything was okay, assuming something dramatic had happened in my life.
Oh no, they thought it was an emotional decision rather than a communication mistake.
Exactly that assumption. I had to explain, slightly embarrassed, that it was simply a misunderstanding with my hairdresser.
How long did it take to feel normal about it again?
Honestly, about 3 weeks, until it started growing back to a length I felt comfortable with.
And how do you handle salon visits differently now?
I always bring a photo now, even for small trims, and I always ask for the finger confirmation before anything begins.
2 simple habits that completely eliminated the problem going forward.
Completely eliminated it. I haven't had a single unwanted surprise since adopting those 2 habits.
Everyone, have you ever had a haircut go wrong because of a language mix-up? Tell us your story in the comments.
And which phrase from today will you use first? Could you show me with your fingers? Or not too short, please?
We read every single comment, and honestly, haircut disaster stories are consistently some of the funniest we receive.
If this episode helped you, please like it and subscribe for a new episode every week.
In our next episode, we are talking about buying tickets for the cinema, a concert, or a train, and all the questions you might hear at the counter.
Subscribe now so you do not miss episode 25.
Take care, everyone, and always confirm with fingers before anyone starts cutting.
Bye, everyone.